From beautiful Jerusalem, welcome to this week's episode of Something for Shabbos on the Shmoozing podcast channel with me, David Goodwin, and Rabbi Menachem Salasnik. Parashat Shoftim.
Yes, this is my bar mitzvah sedra.
Oh, mazel tov.
Thank you. So happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday.
Before we even talk about the Parashat, I want to talk about the haftarah that I read on my parsha. Now, my name is Menachem, and the first few words of the haftarah are 𝘠𝘰𝘳𝘥𝘠 Menachem. I am the one who comforts you. My name means comfort. They say that when parents name their children, they get some sort of prophecy. My parents call me Comfort after my great-grandfather. But it's interesting. I think I've spent a lot of my life in comforting professions, whether it's optometry, dealing with people who are going blind, or in rabbinics, supporting and helping people. It's an interesting thing. But the words are I, Anochi, I am your comforter. And this is one of the 7 haftarot that we say after Tisha B'Av, which talk about Hashem comforting us and the fact that there is a vision for the future, and Hashem is going to eventually bring us back and heal all of those wounds and take us out from all of the pain that we've been suffering. And I read I have to start, I don't normally talk about Hasidic ideas, but I have to share this beautiful Hasidic idea. There are a few times, but the 2 main times where it says the word Anochi in the Torah. One is the Aseret Dibra, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am Hashem your God who took you out of Egypt.
10 Commandments.
And the other one is Anochi Haster Astir et Panai. I am going to hide my face from you. When things are going bad, it's because Hashem is hiding his face, right? And what this Hasidic idea says is that Hashem is telling us that I'm there both when it's absolutely clear, like this mass revelation. I'm also there even when I'm hiding. And in both of those situations, I'm going to come and comfort you.
Nice.
You're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel, even at that time when it's hidden. That's the 2 Anochis there. So I had to share that because it's a beautiful idea. The parasha itself, again, Moshe is summarizing things. He's repeating a lot of the laws that they've been told already at Mount Sinai. He goes through the laws of policing and judges, having a system of judgment in the country. It's extremely important that there are judges and policemen.
An executive and order. You need order.
Yes, you need order, structure.
That's right.
So that's very important.
Yeah, we see that now because our friends in England are struggling with that right now because of this thing of like this 2-tier policing, where people feel hard done by, that they're being judged differently to everyone else. And what they are asking for, we're not talking about far right lunatics, we're talking about just reasonable English people. They're like, please just judge us all the same. Don't make differences.
Right.
I don't want to get too political, but it's sad to see that.
There's a certain group of people who I don't need to name, who it would seem to be that the government and the police are almost scared to police them.
Correct. That's what people are upset about. Just on this, it just occurred to me, the whole of Sefer Devarim may well be the foundation of the long Jewish goodbye. The parshas are huge. Moshe is talking, and it's a goodbye speech.
That's right.
That takes weeks.
They're just standing.
It's a Jewish goodbye.
They're standing there listening, and yeah.
Be like, Moshe, already? Seriously, we get it. Can you go already? And he just can't because we love our Jewish goodbyes. Okay, so
that's a very important thing. A structure of law. We in any country we've been in, we've always said a prayer for the government.
Absolutely.
Or for us, the royal family, right? We had to change our royal family prayer recently, unfortunately.
Yeah. I wonder how many non-Jews, of which we are guests in their country, I wonder how many people know that.
They probably have absolutely no idea.
But that should be publicised.
My father would have as part of the religious education of the local non-Jewish schools, my father would regularly take people on tours in the synagogue, and that was one of the things he pointed out. Look, we say, why is that? Why are we praying for some random? Because we understand that were it not that there was a king or a queen or a government or a structure of judges and police, not that they were always nice to us, they often weren't, right? But the concept of having a structure of law and order stops people eating each other up.
No anarchy.
Yeah.
It stops chaos.
So that's very, very important. And then it moves on to talking about a Jewish king. There's going to be a time when there'll be a Jewish king. Mm-hmm. There wasn't going to be immediately. And there's certain rules as to the way the king has to behave. Mm-hmm. Then it moves on to talking about witchcraft and other sorcery, interesting stuff. And then finally, right at the end, it talks about this procedure that was done when they found a dead body outside of people of towns or cities, and who takes responsibility. They measured who's the closest city, and people would come out and they would take responsibility, and it was about really getting people to understand the responsibility to their guests, their neighbors. You know, we have a responsibility to the people around us. But I want to look at a really beautiful idea by one of the leading ethical rabbis that we've had in the last 100 years, Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz. Mm-hmm. And he points out that one of the things that the king has to have is, it says in the verse, that he has to have his own little Sefer Torah. He has to have his own little scroll
that he carries around with him,
and he has to read every day of his life. That's what it says in the verse. He has to read every day of his life.
What does he have to read?
He has to read.
Just keep reading it.
He has to learn from his own personal scroll every day of his life. So Rabbi Shmulevitz says something which gets down to the real depths of any form of growth. And it's very important, you know, Shoftim is always the beginning of Elul. It's always the beginning of the month leading up to Rosh Hashanah, this month of repairal, of growth, of reconnection, of cleanliness. Virgo is the star sign for Elul, this concept of going back to purity.
Reflecting.
Yeah. Considering where you've gone off path and how you can get back. And he says something really amazing. He says that people get confused when it comes to spiritual growth or any sort of personal growth. They think, let's take these they're not even thinking. They're just like, okay, fine, I'm going to take this massive jump and I'm just going to change my whole life around. It's going to be so amazing. And then a short amount of time goes and it fizzles out. He points out that the way you achieve anything in life, any sort of personal growth, changing of character, changing of actions, comes from daily
routine,
small changes.
Right.
𝘬𝘪𝘯 𝗏 כל ימי חייו. He needs to read this book every day of his life. It's this focus on small, tiny, but regular steps.
The discipline.
Discipline, exactly. If you speak to, and let's say speak to anybody in the realm of fitness.
Yeah, cool.
Okay,
absolutely.
Fitness, sport, any of that sort of stuff. They didn't start with that sort of body. If let's say talking bodybuilding, they didn't start like that. If they did, they're going to die very soon. Okay, what they did was they built up small steps over a long period of time, daily steps. That doesn't mean they can't take a break every so often, because you have to, especially if you're working on fitness, that there's days on and days off, but that's all part of the structure. There's a structure that you build up to. And it's the same with personal growth, meaning working on ourselves and the things we struggle with in our behaviors, anger,
100%.
Jealousy, all of these sorts of things. And learning Torah. People, I've met many people, and I would say it's something I struggle with. There's all of this stuff to learn, right? And I'll come up, it comes to this time of the year, beginning of Elul. Okay, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to turn it all around. New leaf. It's great. God gives us these opportunities to turn. So I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to finish just this, this year. It's going to do it. Listen, it's very, very simple. to finish Shas in a year. 7.5 pages every day, and you're done. I mean, I like reading. It can't be that hard, right? So I'm going to do this. It's possible. We can do it. It's absurd because that is not how. Do you know, somebody told me, if you want to change yourself and become a giver when it comes to charity, people think, okay, I'm going to give this big donation here. And that's not what changes you. Please give big donations. I'm not saying you shouldn't, right?
It's the fives, the giving.
Every day you build a muscle called giving, right? You need to have small steps daily, every single day. And then if you take a 3-week holiday, everything you built up with goes. The parable that he uses is like a kettle, okay? If you turn the kettle on, you're boiling the kettle, and then just before it boils, like a little bit before it boils, you turn the kettle off. And then you wait 10 minutes, and you come back and you turn it back on. And then just before you turn it off, it's never going to boil. Right? It's never going to boil because you don't have what's called hatmada, hasmoda. You don't have the keeping going, keep. There's a very, very famous story in the Talmud, which is truly mind-blowing, actually, about it's a famous story about this teacher who had a student who must have had serious learning difficulties. And
this is the 400.
Exactly.
Right.
And in order for this kid to remember anything, the teacher had to teach him 400 times. Now, even before we move on with that story, just that information, wow, what a teacher. And more than that, what a student.
Yeah, it's true.
What a student.
You think you can miss that part of that story?
Tell me again. I know I have learning difficulties, but do you know what? I know I'm going to keep on going until I get it. Unbelievable.
It's true.
And then one time, he was just coming up to his 400th time when somebody pops in and tells the teacher, oh, you're needed somewhere. And because of that, the student got distracted and he wasn't able to take in the 400 times. Right? He wasn't able to take it in. So the rabbi says, okay, well, we'll start again. I'm going to teach you another 400 times.
Oh, my God.
Right? Now, what happened there? All that happened was that there was a distraction in the middle, right? The kid had his build up of things, and then there was a distraction, and then because of the distraction, he fell back down, and then the next amount doesn't help, right? It's only because there's this build up, first time, second time, third time, fourth time. It builds a tower, and at the top of that tower is the success.
The beauty of the Hebrew language, mivneh means structure, and a binyan is a building.
Yeah.
We say these words, the Hebrew language is literally just so deliciously gorgeous, just because it's all root, essence, and it's just shoresh, and it just flows from there. But it's everything what you just said, discipline, maintenance. You don't get there by doing a big explosion. Go and run 20 miles, right? You're going to kill yourself, and you don't do any more fitness. That's not how you get fit. Gradual.
Yeah. So that's really the message as we start this month of Elul. Yes, of course you should set your heights high, but understand that you should have a 60-year program I can see at the end of 60 years, that is the human being I want to be. I don't mean in business.
No.
I mean,
but it's the same.
It's the same, but that's not our focus right now, right? In 60 years' time, that is the human being I want to be. Set your heights really high. Think about the greatest human being that, I don't mean in publicity, and I mean in character and in goodness and in greatness. Who's that? You can be that. Have that image, but then understand that you need a 10-year plan, and then a 1-year plan, and then a 1-month plan.
Yeah.
And just in order to get to that 1-month plan, what are you going to do today? And keep it up day by day. And then we're all going to be amazing. We're going to see each other in 60 years and we're going to say, wow, how did I get here? And the answer is tiny step after tiny step.
This show is brought to you by Dream Digital Art, the place to buy the coolest Jewish and Israel-related art pieces and products. As a schmoozing podcast fan, you'll get 10% off your online order with the promo code shmooze10.